Hi, I'm Steve, the Funky Heart. This is my friend Amy. I'll let her finish introducing herself.
Hi, I'm Amy Verstappen, and I'm 49 years old, and I'm a complex congenital heart patient just like Steve.
What are you doing?
I'm the president and CEO of the Adult Congenital Heart Association.
Now you've told me this story before, but tell me, how did you get involved in heart advocacy?
Well, it's an interesting story. So I, like many people, I was born and told when I was a child that I had a congenital heart defect, but I was really, really fine for a long time, and I had no health problems, and I was doing great. And during that time, between the time when I was a child and an adult, I ended up switching from doctors who knew a lot about congenital heart disease when I was a child over to docs who didn't know a whole lot, and I didn't know that at the time. So when I was about 32, I was told that I was having some symptoms after I had my daughter, and I went to the cardiologist, and I was told I had heart failure. I was told that I had something called dilated cardiomyopathy, which means you have too big a heart, and I was told that my only treatment choice was transplant. And I said at the time to this very fancy cardiologist, they win actually awards every year, one of the top cardiologists in the country, I said to them, does this have anything to do with my complex congenital heart defect, which I knew I had? And they said, you know, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but we know that you have this other problem. Lots of people get it when they're pregnant. And so I went through a very difficult period of my life where I was being taken care of by these docs, and I had been told I was getting sicker, and I was told that I had 3 to 5 years to live. Now, by sheer luck, I happened to encounter a group of wonderful people online, on the internet, who told me something new. And what they told me was there were specialists in congenital heart disease in adults. And by sheer luck, I ended up getting on a plane and flying out to the Mayo Clinic and meeting with one of the fine cardiologist there at this special adult congenital heart center at the Mayo Clinic. Let me make clear, there's lots of really good adult congenital heart programs in the country, and ACHA doesn't take sides. We think there's lots of choices, but it happens that at that time the center I was seeing was the Mayo Clinic. And when I got there, I discovered that everything I had been told previously was wrong. So it turned out my heart wasn't even big, it was normal sized. The reason that other people thought it was big is because they were looking, you know, the part of the heart they were looking at that looked big actually was what it was supposed to look like. It just happened to be a different part than they thought they were looking at it. Turned out I had different treatment options, so I didn't have a transplant. I had a big surgery then, but much better than transplant, so we can delay the transplant choice. And I found out that with the right kind of care, there's a good chance that I can go a very long time. But something else happened at that visit. So when I was there with my doctor, Dr. Carol Warnes, she said to me, you know, Amy, you need to understand that you're extremely lucky. And I said, why is that? She said, well, most people who have the heart problem that you do, by the time they reach me, it's too late to do the surgery. We've missed the boat. The person is already really, really sick, and they have no options except for maybe transplant. And she said, you're incredibly lucky. Because you got here early, you were able to have the surgery early, and that means you still have really good health, and you have a moral obligation to go out and be a leader for adults with congenital heart disease. And so for me, I always think of that as my moral obligation. I am incredibly lucky. I have complex congenital heart disease, but I ended up with my health pretty intact. Not that I don't have issues like everybody else, but I have the ability to work full-time and do this full-time, and that's what I do, because I want to make a difference for everybody, so it's never too late for anybody, and so all of us live as long as we possibly can.